can work through lunch? What would you like to do?
Let's work while we're eating.
Let's work while we're eating. Okay. Let's just take a few minutes to pick up whatever you like, bring it back to your place, and then we'll go on with the rest of the delegation
I
meeting.
would like to go on record that I brought my own lunch because someone made a comment in the newspaper about everyone doing that.
I was going to buy you lunch, Karen, if they were going to charge us. We are ready to reconvene. And we left off with the presentation of the letter from Commissioner Sorensen. So I'd like to go ahead and ask Commissioner Sorensen to direct his comments to the letter that he presented.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I stayed up last night trying to draft this letter, and this letter was typed up this morning after I got in here. And you probably noticed that the secretary was bringing them up to hand out. Hopefully I made enough for everybody. It's sort of a summary of the pellet boiler process that we went through. We had thought that that money would come out of the $23,500,000 budget of the new nursing home. I won't go through and read the letter, but at the end of the letter, the last paragraph is probably the most important. I'm requesting, or the commissioners are requesting, that the delegation approve the $375,000 figure for the installation of the pellet boilers, and that money come out of the new nursing home budget. I say that, as I said in the first sentence, one of our secretaries went back and looked at the budgets, and it did have in there boiler, I forget what the term was now, biomass plant. Did not have any money next to it, but it was in there right from the get-go. And we thought that's where the money would be coming out of. We applied for that applied for that grant. We received it, $400,100. Probably if we hadn't gotten that grant, we probably wouldn't have pursued the boiler pellet stove. Okay. So I would encourage the delegation, whether we made some mistakes, whether you made some mistakes, all I'm asking is that we try to correct it and move on and get the pellet stoves connected.
Chairman, I'll make a motion that the delegation approve $375,000 to be taken out of monies left over from the bonding of the new nursing home to pay for the installation of the pellet boilers. I'll second it.
Okay, there's a motion to allow the commissioners to take $375,000 out of the new nursing home budget construction.
The remainder of the new nursing home bond.
Okay. And it's been seconded by Representative Merrill.
What was the second?
Representative Merrill.
I'd like, at some point, I'd like to speak to that second.
Yes, yes.
After Dave.
Could we go through and get the actual motion again, please?
Okay. Representative Babson moved that the commissioners be authorized to expend $375,000 for the completion of the pellet boiler installation. That amount to come out of the remainder of the new nursing home bond.
Or funds remaining from the new nursing home bond or something like that.
First, we have Representative Merrill to
Second.
second. You seconded, and you wanted to speak to your second.
We've been discussing this thing for too long, actually. As far as I can see, and I've given us quite a bit of thought, there've been mistakes made by the commissioners and there've been mistakes made by the delegation. And no matter who made the mistakes, we've got a contract sitting out there that we're gonna get sued if we don't get it done. I've reviewed the contract, I've reviewed the sketches with the contract, or the plans with it. Very definitely, the contract was written to those plans, which shows the boiler installed right where they're currently getting ready to install it, and it very definitely was in the contract that this be extended over to feed the boilers which feed the jail as a backup. I say let's get on with it. You can't do anything about the past. If you want to go back and figure out what went wrong afterwards, that's fine. But let's get the gosh darn thing installed and stop squabbling about it. That's all I got to say.
Okay, Representative McCarthy first, and then McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If you look at the documents that the Commissioner is referring to, dated 11/25/2009, you will find in item 7, biomass plant option. That's all it says. It's a line item that says biomass plant option. 0 funds allocated for that option, although the funds total $23.5 million is what the fund is for. So as of 2009, it wasn't on the original worksheet. It was just an option. And I would like to point out that the money that is the $375,000 that you're talking about really is just peripherally associated with the pellet boiler. It is to prepare the building. Now, also, if you look at the document that Commissioner Sorensen is speaking of, there is absolutely not a word, not a single word in here about the old nursing home, except $100,000 out of that $23.5 million will be used for the demolition of the old nursing home. That's the only thing that's in here relative to the old nursing home. My point is that preparing that building for anything, UNH coming down, the maintenance, I don't care what it is, the old nursing home, according to state law, in order to spend 1 penny of the excess funds from that bond, it takes 2/3 a majority vote of the entire delegation to spend funds from that bond on another project other than the nursing home itself. And we all know the nursing home is completed, it's already moved, everybody's moved into it, the nursing home is running, it's done. So no funds should be expended on the old building unless a 2/3 vote of the delegation, and that's state law.
Representative McCarthy, did you have a?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Growing up, my dad always had a saying that if the dog didn't stop to scratch the flea, he would have caught the rabbit. The only item that the motion last week by the delegation was to simply show us where the commissioners had the authority. Commissioner Solomon has now come forward in the last paragraph and asked for permission to do that. Representative Babson was ahead of me on this motion. That's all that I was looking for. Commissioners have done that, which would be, in my opinion, asking for the authority to do that. I will sincerely support the motion. Thank you.
Are there any other comments on this? Representative Babson.
Just one question on a procedural matter, Mr. Chairman. This letter that Kathy Garrity got back from the attorney says 2/3 of the members of the county commission, county convention. That would be all of us. Does that mean here in voting, or does that mean the number itself?
believe it would be here and voted.
Thank you.
Not what it says.
It's not what the letter says.
RSA 33-3, it says, all members of the county convention.
That does not mean all members of the delegation, though. It means when we're meeting in convention,
Oh, yeah.
that's what it's intended to mean, when we're meeting in convention, as we're being now. The delegation does not necessarily, both convention and delegation are not interchangeable terms.
Well, if I might, even so, the point is that when we go into convention, it will require all of us to vote in favor, because there are 10 of us here, and 2/3 of 14 is 9 1/4, whatever.
No, that's the point. We're not in, when we go in convention, the RSA refers to in convention or the convention.
That's right. That's
That is made up of the members who go into convention. It doesn't mean the delegation, it means convention. And every time we act and we take action to ratify what we do, we go into convention and we always go by either it's a majority or 2/3, but it always is of the members of the convention who are there and present to vote at that time. Yes.
I would hope that all of us would agree that we can support the $375,000 for the boiler. What we have been arguing over is whether or not the delegation needed to approve the money. That's what the argument has been over. And so we are, in fact, now going to move forward to approve the money. I don't think, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think anyone is saying that we shouldn't install the pellet boiler. We can argue about how much was supposed to be covered by one contract and how much was supposed to be covered by the other contract. But what we know is that in order to get the pellet boiler working, Bonnet Page and Stone has said they expect it to cost $375,000. We can be unhappy with that cost, okay? But that's what the cost is. So I would hope that everyone on the delegation recognizes that this is probably what should have occurred several months ago and didn't. But now we need to move forward, let Bonnet Page and Stone do their thing, and have the commissioners understand that before anything gets done beyond this with the new nursing home, or the old nursing home, they need to come to the to the delegation prior to anything. And so I think that, you know, we don't need to argue about it. I think the 10 of us that are here are grown up, understand where we need to be, and press forward with a positive vote.
Commissioner Sorensen.
Thank you. Just a quick comment. It wasn't the intention of the commissioners to get us into this situation. We knew it had to be connected up. We knew the money had to come from somewhere. Perhaps we should have come earlier to get that approval. We're asking for it now. I hope this will help settle it and get the thing moving. As I said, it wasn't our intention to cause a whole lot of trouble and get us into contracts that became an issue as to whether we had to break them and lawsuits and everything else. I don't want to cost the taxpayers any more money. I want to save the taxpayers money.
Move the question.
Point of order.
Mr. Brown.
I have a whole problem with this. You know, there was actually 3 RSAs that have been read into the record 2413, 661-9, official misconduct. Just the way the commissioners handled this. They went into a special meeting 44 hours before. I'm having a problem because, granted, no one is looking for a lawsuit,
Okay.
especially,
Mr. Brown, I'm going to call you out of order now because we do have a motion on the floor. It's being discussed, and it's not time for public
You could
input.
be possibly approving something that's been handled illegal. There's a legal question on the floor, whether
Mr. Brown,
the commissioners have acted illegally. And if you approve something illegally, then the delegation can be held in contempt.
Mr. Brown, we're going to move on. We are in the process of considering a motion that is on the floor right now. And does anybody on the delegation have a question or a concern? Go ahead, Representative Alderman.
Yes, thank you for allowing me to
What happened,
speak.
move the question?
Question's been moved.
Yeah.
Okay, it has been, okay, I'm sorry, I missed that.
Question wasn't voted on, though, the move, Mr. Chairman.
No, they did move.
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
Can I say something, point of order? I just, this morning, I see a letter, said the county of Carroll, Office of the Commissioners. I see the letterhead, my name is here on there. And I think it was headed to the public. The public was handed out. And I asked for one, I just see one, and I was not even consulted on this. That is, I just want to mention that.
Okay, that's fine, thank you.
I did that on my own.
Representative Alderman and then McCarthy.
Well, I'd like to speak to the question or speak to my amendment before we move forward with the motion on the floor.
Your amendment being? We don't have an amendment. What amendment, what are you talking about? We don't have an amendment.
Am I recognized to speak to the question? Is that what you recognized me for, to speak to the question?
I thought that's what you wanted.
I move the question.
He moved the question already.
We've got to vote
Well, we
on
don't all
it.
get to
We're
speak?
gonna move
We
the
don't,
question.
we don't all have an opportunity to speak once?
Move the question.
No, not if he moved the question.
That's the way they do it here.
We gotta vote on it,
Yeah.
though, Chris.
You have to vote.
I have could you
Point of order,
read
question.
exactly what the
All right, I will-
motion
all right.
is?
I understand now.
Yeah.
All right. I would hope that everyone would vote no to moving the question. I would like to speak on this motion. I amended the original motion. I think I deserve a chance to just let my opinion be heard, and of what my intentions are for trying to, of what I felt what was going on in an effort to try to bring this whole mission of renovating the nursing home into its, totality.
So we do have a call for the question, and we have to vote on that. And that's what the call will be for.
Just a point of order, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Normally, when you ask for when he makes a motion, the question, it has to go past by 2/3 vote in support to shut off any further discussion.
I don't think so.
I don't think it's 2/3. I think it's a simple majority.
Majority, yeah.
All right, we do have that call for the question, and that's what we're voting on right now. All in favor of calling the question, would you please say aye? Aye. Or raise your hand, please, so we have a count here. Did you get everything? The motion to carry has failed, is that correct? What do we have?
4 to 6.
4 to 6. All right. So,
Put your hand up too.
that,
You didn't.
what do you need, Commissioner Kenny?
I don't think that Representative Altman put
I-
his hand up.
He didn't.
He didn't put his hand up.
Would be surprised if he did.
Did you have a question, though? Did you want to make your point now? Go
Since
ahead.
it failed, I would like
Yeah,
to be able to
sure,
recognize to
sure,
speak.
yeah.
Thank you. And thank you very much, those who voted in favor. Basically, what we're looking at here is the commissioners are moving forward on putting the pellet boiler into the nursing home annex, the old nursing home, okay? They have already planned out where it's going to be in that annex by, I believe, this old EGA plan. That it's pretty much where the old current boiler is, they're adding on to it right there, okay? But, you know, we are in the middle of trying to discuss what we're doing with the entire nursing home, old nursing home, the annex. And that if we put a new roof on the old nursing home, that might encumber, you know, the fact that we've already had the boiler there. If we want to reduce the size and scope of the total plan, you know, we are fortunate that the boiler is located centrally. If the boiler was located in another spot, it could severely encumber the totality of the plan of what we're going to do. So, I would like to amend the motion to say on the understanding that the delegation will receive a plan with a budget for the renovation of the nursing home annex by March 31st, and you certainly are welcome to amend the date, but the whole objective of this, and from where I sit, is for us to ultimately have a completed plan of exactly what's going to go on there, and not have it be to remain in perpetuity this piecemeal type of situation. So that is my amendment, is that that we have approved that from those funds, but on the understanding that we will receive a plan with a budget for the renovation or demolition of whatever we're doing at the nursing home annex. So we can resolve once and for all what's going on over there.
Is there
March
a second?
12th was the date
No,
that,
Your second?
March.
No, okay, is there a second to
March,
it?
you know, that's certainly open to further amendment. I was just trying to allow enough time for them to, you know, have the plan. March 12th is when it's supposed to commence.
that's what he
No.
said. Commissioner Sorensen indicated he would have a plan to us by March
Right.
12th.
Then March 12th, all right, so thank you. Then March 12th, that we would receive that plan.
So in a subcommittee.
Going to the subcommittee,
It's all in the subcommittee. I think they reported that.
yes. Representative McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm very sympathetic to what Representative Umberger said. We are all aware that, you know, the pellet boiler is gonna have to go in. We know that. And I have no qualms with that. My qualm is paying $800,000 to two separate entities to do the same job. And I would go along with this vote under one condition, that it was stipulated in the motion that not one single penny could be spent for anything other than what is directly related to I changed that, to preparing the building for the installation of the pellet boiler. Not one penny more is to be spent for any other item except preparing the building for the installation of the pellet boiler.
Okay, we do have, first of all, an amendment. Nobody has seconded that, and for lack of a second, it fails.
I'll second it. I'd like to comment on it.
Why do that?
Okay, there is a second to it then. And did you want to comment, then we'll...
Yeah, I do want to comment. The diagram that Representative Algren was holding up is not the one that I have been referring to. The diagram that I am referring to is the one in the contract, which has been signed by the commissioners, which holds us on the line for paying this money and clearly ties this boiler into being installed where it is and going through the building and install it to the other one. And I don't think we can void that contract. We're gonna get ourselves, I'm not trying to place any blame, but we're gonna be in deep trouble if we start voiding contracts. And I think we should let it, I say give them the money and let the boiler go, because that sketch is not what that contract was designed for.
Go ahead, Representative.
Thank you for letting me rebut. I agree with you, Representative Merrill. And my objective is that with my amendment, is they would still be allowed to move forward with what they need to do with the proposed contract, but that we gave that with the understanding that we receive a plan by this day, on March 12th. So they can move forward, but we have to have a plan. we are fortunate that the boiler is going to be located in basically that same spot. And so it probably is not going to really encumber the overall plan. But if it was in a different spot, we might be very limited on our choices. And in the long run, I think that the subcommittee would like to be able to make choices and not get limited in the long run.
Okay, if I might,
Can I just make one reply to that, because we're still not right. The boiler is going in where it's going in, Representative Waldron. But if you look at the plan, it also shows that that boiler is connected through the building into another part of the plan, and that's part of the contract. You can't limit it just to that boiler. You've got to complete the whole contract. So what are you gonna do if we wait till the 15th and you don't like the plan?
No, he's not saying to wait.
Just before we go on, I have a question about the amendment, although it has, well, we do have a second now, I guess.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman, it's a motion. My motion was defeated, so it's no longer an amendment.
Your motion wasn't defeated.
No.
We haven't voted on it yet.
No, we haven't
Oh,
voted.
voted on, that's right, move the question.
Move the question, yeah.
You're right.
But my question is a procedural one. I don't know how we can authorize something which could be accomplished right now and hinge on the party doing something several weeks down the road. What do we, I don't understand how that works. I don't think we can do that. But Representative McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and to Representative Algren. We made great breakthrough strides in the subcommittee meeting. The commissioners agreed, we asked, they agreed. The Bond Page and Stone is going to bring forward, actually ahead of that date, we've asked for that documentation on the shrinking of the building and doing what they need to be distributed well ahead of time. We've asked that they, whenever they have that available, we will meet at the chair's call, so the subcommittee can make a recommendation. They're already doing that. To Representative McCarthy, your favorite, one of your favorite sayings is you can't beat a dead horse. My dead horse has come back and has come to the trough to get a drink of water. I think we need to take care of this so that we stop the process where we are, allow them to move forward. I'm satisfied that we've been answered what we've asked for. We're moving in the direction to build a much more cost-effective building, and I won't be supporting the new motion, and I would hope that we can go back to the original motion and approve this. The amendment.
Okay. Representative McCarthy.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would just like to point out to all of the members who are not with the subcommittee on the old building, I have a copy of Bonnet Page and Stone's contract, the $375,000 contract. It specifically states that not one iota of work will be performed relative to installing the boiler, or setting it up, or hooking it up, or firing it up. Not one iota. The only thing the contract calls for is doors and frames and hardware, fire sealants, asbestos and abatement allowances, prep the boiler room to apply colored stain finish, a new extinguisher for the boiler room, etc., etc. So my point is that if we're going to pay them $375,000 to prep that room, fine. But let's put that in writing, that that's what we're paying them for, not to do anything else to prepare the building for UNH or for rentals or for anything else.
That was not, okay, I have a Representative Alden.
Thank you for recognizing me again. And unfortunately, this time I don't plan to, but in the interest in time, I withdraw my amendment.
Representative Babson.
Well, we need to find out if Tregenza will
Oh,
withdraw.
okay, I'm sorry, that's right, yeah. You agreed to withdraw, okay. Then Representative Babson.
Bonnet Page and Stone's quote may say that. I haven't seen the whole thing, but they also have in there the whole thing from Devron for the electronics and the hooking it up, so
It's all contract, your contract.
No.
Contract written right to it.
Nope.
And you got a different copy than I got.
Yeah.
there's no way it costs
right
that
here.
much money to put the doors in. It's for the entire thing. Harry's got the contract with the sketches of where the equipment is, where it's going.
I think that, and I was involved, or I'm not involved in, but I did attend the subcommittee meeting the other day, and I think that's been reviewed, and I think there is agreement generally,